Hey everyone, welcome to the Eagle Miner YouTube channel. So in the crypto mining community, the question that is often asked is, which GPU should I buy for mining? And the answer that you usually get, especially when you have these crypto bull runs and high GPU prices, is whatever ROIs. I disagree with that statement, and we will get into why. So a few quick basics on how ROI and profitability in GPU mining works. So here we have the equation for profitability. We have the equation for ROI. ROI means return on investment. It is how much time it is going to take for you to make the money that you spent on hardware and electricity back. So when are you going to be breaking even on your power cost and the cost of your hardware for mining? When we look at this equation here, we can see a couple of things. ROI equals this entire thing. As a miner, you should always try to decrease your ROI to be as low as possible. You want to break even on your investment as quickly as you can. The cost of the hardware is on top, okay? So the higher the cost of the hardware is, the longer it will take for you to ROI. A few things which are going to decrease your ROI, which is good. If the price of the coin you're mining goes up, your ROI goes down. If the hash rate of your GPU is higher, you're going to break even quicker. If the block reward that you're going to be receiving on the network you're mining on is higher, your ROI is lower. If the network difficulty is higher, that also means that your ROI is lower. So you do not want this to be very high. And then this is just profitability down here that is being divided by GPU power usage. This is just how much electricity your GPU uses, and then the electric rate which you're paying. Notice the things which I have colored blue. These are things that are within your control, things you can control, and then the black is things you cannot control. We cannot really control if Ethereum's price drops or goes up. We can't control if Bitcoin's halving schedule is once every 4 years. We can't control the amount of transactions on Ethereum, which gives miners a share of the transaction fees. We can't control how many other people are going to be mining on a network. You can to some extent control your electricity rate, but it's not really the topic of this video because we're trying to find which GPU to buy, not necessarily where to mine it. So the way you can control the cost of your hardware is potentially buy the same hardware you were going to buy before, but at a cheaper price. Maybe you buy it from a different store, maybe you buy it from a different person. You find a better deal. The GPU hash rate, you can choose a GPU with a higher hash rate. And then GPU power usage, this really comes down to efficiency. So you can buy a GPU that is more efficient, you're going to be more profitable that way. So the problem with looking at ROI and then calculating the ROI and then saying, oh, if I buy this GPU, I'll ROI pretty quickly, is that you are not looking at the factors which you can control. Your ROI will sometimes be really low because of factors you cannot control that are temporarily going to be favorable toward mining. Let me give you an example. On May 12th of 2021, you used to be able to get $35 of profits mining on the Ethereum network with a 3090. Okay. Now, if you were to get a 3090 for $2,000 back then, and assuming that that's your daily profit, you would ROI in 57 days. That's less than 2 months. That's insane. All right. Here's the problem with that. You might be saying, oh, that would have been a great time to buy a 3090, right? The price of Ethereum dropped more than cut in half within 2 weeks. This price of coin right here was inflated for a really short amount of time, and people thought, well, look, the ROIs are great, we should go ahead and buy some GPUs. Instead, you should focus on the factors you can control, not necessarily ROI always. So I've created a Google spreadsheet that you can use to calculate a few things. So obviously we had our three variables which we can control. One of them was the cost of your hardware, so that's the price. And then we have the hash rate of your GPU, so that's essentially the mega hash rate you're getting. And then the electricity cost, which is, we're going to just quantitate that as efficiency. The two most important variables when trying to buy a GPU is these two numbers right here that you're going to get. You want the lowest dollar per mega hash ratio, and you want the highest efficiency. So let's say, for example, I want to buy a 3090 Ti, and it costs $2,200. So I go in here and I go 3090 Ti, and I put $2,200. I'm paying $16 a mega hash and getting 391 kilohashes per watt efficiency. If I were to buy a 1660 Super from Micro Center, paying $320, 1660 Super, you'd go down here and you'd put the price here, and it would give you the dollar per mega hash ratio and the efficiency. You can see you have better dollar per mega hash, right? Instead of paying $16 every mega hash, you're paying 10, and you're getting more efficiency, getting more hash rate for every watt that you're spending in electricity. So a 1660 Super would be preferable to a 3090 Ti, even though the 3090 Ti would give you more total hash rate per GPU and would be newer and would look fancier. However, as a miner, you want to control the variables that you can control to the best of your ability, and that's what you do. Now, the spreadsheet that I made, it has pretty much every NVIDIA GPU out there that you can mine on. Now, I wouldn't buy a 1050 because it doesn't mine anything essentially at this point. A 1050 Ti is a 4GB card, so it can only mine Ethereum Classic. I would not recommend it either. The efficiency is horrible on those cards. And then the sources that I used, hashrate.no, this website right here, it'll tell you some information on, let's just go to 3090 Ti for example, right? It'll tell you the MSRP of the GPU. It will tell you how much max electricity it can use. It'll tell you the profitability on the day. The issue with, again, going by this number alone to buy your GPUs, right, to decide which GPU to buy, is that these things, like the price of the coin, the block reward, the network difficulty, those can change. They can change really quickly, as we saw in about spring of last year. So you should always try your best to control the variables that you can control. And for the example that we had, if you were to buy the 1660 Super as opposed to the 3090 Ti, you are guaranteed to basically ROI quicker on the 1660 Super, even if these other variables change compared to the 3090 Ti, because the variables that you could control are in your favor when buying this. I've put every NVIDIA GPU in here. You basically go into it and then you press on the price, right? Link will be in the description, obviously. Then you put how much the cost is that you're looking at. So just to give you another example, let's say I see that someone on Micro Center is selling 3080 light hash rates for 1020. Okay, I can go on 30. This is probably it's a 12 gigabyte card. Okay, so there are 10 gigabyte versions of the 3080s. There are also 12 gigabytes. So you go to the 12 gigabyte version and you go $1,020. You'd be paying $16 per mega hashes on Ethereum, which is pretty similar to the 3090 example we looked at. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that there was also AMD GPUs that you can look at. So we have the 6000 series, 5000 series, VEGA series, Polaris series. Make sure you realize that when you're buying, for example, 3080s, make sure you have the right 10 gigabyte version, because there are 10 gigabyte versions, there's 12 gigabyte versions. Those are going to have different profitabilities depending on which one you're going to be buying. Okay, and ironically, actually, the 10 gigabyte version is better than the 12 gigabyte because NVIDIA's light hash rate lock on the 10 to 12 gigabyte is really difficult to unlock. So the 10 gigabyte is always preferred if you're going to be paying the same price. Same thing with the AMD GPUs. If you go to the Polaris series, there are some versions of RX 580s, 570s, 470s that are 4 gigabyte cards. Those can only mine on Ethereum Classic. Not really something I would recommend buying at the moment because they're old, inefficient. They're not going to be able to mine on a lot of algorithms today. So that's essentially this spreadsheet. I only have Ethereum on here because, at least for now, even up till this point, even though we have, like, what is it, 5, maybe 7 months left on proof of work Ethereum, it is still the most profitable one. It is still the standard as to what GPU to buy, even though you might not be able to ROI by the time it goes proof of stake. It is still the standard that I would go by. However, I will be adding other algorithms on here like Cowpow, Ravencoin, Sergo, Conflux. What else is there? There's Toncoin. There's a lot of other coins that you can mine that I will add onto here so that we will have other points of reference as to which GPU to buy. So again, just as a quick recap, if you're buying a GPU, what makes a GPU a good GPU to buy? One that has a good dollar to mega hash ratio and one that is efficient at mining. So quick last notes, the sources that I use, I also sometimes use minerstat.com. So if you go to their website, let me just open a new tab. They will have essentially a lot of GPUs, and they will show you, let's just take the 6600 XT for example. They will show you how much mega hashes you can get on it on Ethash, which is the Ethereum mining algorithm, the amount of electricity used, the profitability at the moment, and then you put in your electricity cost into here. Okay, so at the end of the document there's a deposit bonus you can get. So this is Celsius Network. If you go on here, you can sign up and it will give you, for this, if you put this link in there, which is an affiliate link, so I do get some money for that, it'll give you about $50 of $50 deposit bonus for depositing $400 on there. So that's a pretty good free $50 you could get on Celsius Network. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, if you want me to include any GPUs I didn't include on the AMD or NVIDIA, if you use this calculator and you see that something is potentially inaccurate, please let me know down in the comments and I will go ahead and try to fix it. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. Go ahead and comment down below also what other metrics other than dollar per mega hash rate and efficiency are good to use for deciding what GPU to buy. Obviously, one of them I didn't mention was the amount of gigabytes that are going to be on the memory of your card. I will probably explain that in another video, but for main metrics you'd use these and make sure your card is above 4 gigabytes in terms of VRAM. So thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video.